Hi, and welcome to the Market Alert for Thursday, the 24th of July 2025. So deals and dismal data send bonds, bullion and Bitcoin lower. Quant chaos continues and risk asset bid and havens hit on US-Japan deal and touted EU deal. We'll come to that a bit more detail in a second. US stocks gain following US-Japan trade deal, while the US and EU are said to be closing in on a deal. And that deal they're talking about is this one. We've got the EU to close tariff. I don't think you can see that. Just one second. Let me just bring that down. There we go. So we've got US and EU close in on 15% tariff deal. 30% was the number. Now they've gone down to half of that, which is no surprise. That's how Trump works. He lobs in a big percentage and then eventually they end up where they should have been in the first place. But that's just the way it goes. So, EU close to a 15% tariff deal, but expect a lot more volatility in the next week as we head towards the 1st of August settlement date for these tariffs. Right, let's have a look at the rest of the markets and market action and kick off with the Dow. Well, surprise, surprise, or no surprise, the Dow is heading back to the all-time high of 45,077. Yesterday it hit 450,032. Absolutely no surprise if you followed the market alert for the last few months. It's all about the buy side and also continuing to head towards all-time highs and making new all-time highs on a daily basis. The insanity continues. There's no end to it. We're now into the summer. The summer generally nothing happens apart from 2007. When in August 2007 we saw the first part of the falling apart of the markets with the great financial crash that we had. But the moment, the markets, no sign of any weakness coming into these markets at all. And of course, once the trade deals are done, then we'll probably get another rally as that will all be out of the way and the markets can settle down once again. And then, of course, as we go further on, we'll get the reality of what is actually done. And then we may see the market start to fall apart. But at the moment, as you can see yesterday, cash market up and up on the overnight, above the DP, above the 50 EMA. The high of yesterday is sort of a precursor to that all-time high of 45,077. And in the German DAX, guess what? We're heading to the all-time high. That's not going to be too difficult to take out now at 24,644. And yesterday, 30-minute chart, so you can see the EU announcement deal there, 15% EU trade deal with the US and the market moving higher. Below the high at the moment, but don't be surprised if we head back there. May get a bit of a pullback today just to sort of dust settle. But again, if you look at the daily chart, we're not far off making that all-time high. The only other caveat, really, I suppose, is that we are sort of an 89% retracement to that high of yesterday, well, the overnight high at 89%. So that could see the market pull back a bit. There's a bit of resistance at that level. And speaking of all-time highs, well, I'll just keep marking them up. S&P, again, new all-time high, heading towards the 6,500 level, 6371.2. Again, 30-minute chart, you can see that yesterday market moving up. It's exactly the same for the FT100. Absolute insanity for the UK. This is absolute insanity. The most hated government ever. Taxes upon taxes upon taxes, and the market continues to make new all-time highs. 9,116. Unbelievable. 30-minute chart, again, going with the US, dragging the market along, using it as an excuse because there's certainly no fundamentals to support this. It's being pulled in the slipstream of the US S&P being making new all-time highs. Dragged along for the ride is what we're seeing there. So yeah, amazing, isn't it? It just continues to keep moving higher. Economic news today, I forgot to look at that, so let's have a quick look. It's flash news today, real pain, this news release up until 9:30, and then we get it in the US as well at 2:45. The market will use this however it can to be volatile, so just give you a heads up there. We've also got ECB press conference with Lagarde. That's at 1:45. It'd be interesting to see if she's got anything to say about this 15% trade deal and how they're going to counter it. But then I think that's the job of Ursula von der Leyen. I know it's Leyen, but that's what she's known as in the trade, von der Leyen. So yeah, that's where we're at with regards to news and US dollar. You can see they're pulling back now as these trade deals seem to be getting completed and fully negotiated. But interesting to see how quickly that's coming back, to be honest with you, which of course is good news for the metals. So let's have a look at those. And starting off with silver, the market down up yesterday, and then overnight the market is currently quite volatile. It's traded lower and then come off the lows to stay above the 5-bar moving average, which you can see there. We traded down to the S2 overnight at 38.79. Good shakeout, and now bringing the market back. Yesterday with the EU deal as well, you can see there the market trying to be smashed, but that didn't last long. Massive buying coming in, market holding, but overnight trading's quiet. Hit it with the futures and bring the market back there. There are 450 million ounces that are short on the markets by the banks at the moment. It's not a good position to be in, so expect volatility as we approach the $40 level. Meanwhile, in gold, this sideways to lower as well yesterday, using the excuse of the 15% trade deal. Again, you can see this happening in the early part of the evening there when it was announced. So this trading at yesterday's lows and trying to hold there at the moment. So they'll use any excuse to smash the metals prices at the moment as well. Quick look at the gold-silver ratio, and in the gold-silver ratio you can see there that we were down yesterday. Silver moving quite nicely against gold, but struggling a bit there overnight. Right, a quick look at yesterday's trades. An interesting afternoon. The morning wasn't too bad, but expect further volatility and some really strange moves. So let's have a look at this. So in the 2-minute DAX, you can see we had a bit of a rally to begin with off the R1 in the pre-cash market trading there, futures trade. We then opened to the downside. So it's as if they knew they were going to be met with a lot of selling when they first opened, as they moved the prices up and then absorbed on the sell side. Then the market found support, and then we got back to the high of Tuesday. Market then slammed down, gap down below the 200 MA, and then we see a bit of buying coming into the market there to support below the 200 MA, and then we continue lower. Market doesn't want to know, it can't close above the 5-bar moving average, and then stays on the short side before finding support and trying to get back to the high. However, once again we are met with some selling, but this time the buying holds in the market, as you'll see in just a second. The market reverses and heads back up to the high, so it's just a matter of we'll keep shaking out down here. We get the buying coming in, 2 lots of buying, and then move the market up, and then we hit a bit of selling there with the red bar, and then we get the reversal off this and move prices to the upside. And then we get into that sideways move at the high, try and then make progress to the upside before we get a potential sell. And then we get into this pattern that we've seen for the last few weeks, where once you've had that initial move, the market becomes sideways, and you get this where the market tries to go lower and then comes back, and you get that sell signal that comes in that fails, and then the market still stuck in a sideways range before it breaks once more to the downside and continues all the way through until we get to the Dow futures opening around lunchtime and then into the afternoon. Now, we've already got a precursor of what's likely to come here because the market's already gone quiet. There must have been news within the financial media that there was going to be the release of something with regard to tariffs, and we get into this horrible sideways move where the market just keeps giving losing trades. As you'll see in a second, we get another one there where prices are just stuck, and then another one where it's straight to reversal to the downside there, and the market then tries to come back and recoups some of the losses there. But it's this trade deal tariff situation at the moment that's dominating these moves. Like I say, and I said earlier this week that we get a situation at the moment where the market will trade sideways, and then we get the EU release there. You can see massive move off this. You've got 100, 200, 250 points. You don't want to be short when you get these announcements. So you can see there the market then just heading into the remainder of the evening just sideways to lower. At the moment, we've got a situation where we're below yesterday's high, but we're trying to get back. We need to get back above the close, the 50 EMA and the 200 MA there in order to move higher. But expect more today. We've got Lagarde as far as the DAX is concerned, and also that 15% deal is not cast in stone yet. This is something that's being thrown around, so something else could be thrown around again today. Right, that will do it for this one. Let's see what happens during today. And as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.